Have you ever loved someone so much that the thought of them betraying you was literally unimaginable? I did, until I found the hotel receipts. What you're about to hear is a true story, and it's a rough one. If you've ever been through something similar, or just want to see how this story unfolds, hit that subscribe button and stick with me. You won't believe where this goes. It started subtly, slight distance that felt more like a continental drift than a simple space between us. For 10 years, Sarah and I had built a life in Austin, Texas. We were that couple the ones our friends pointed to as proof that true love was real. Our brownstone near Zilker Park was a home, not just a house. It was filled with laughter, shared dreams, and the scent of the magnolia tree in our backyard. I was a software engineer, a loyal, maybe even naive, husband. I believed in us completely. Then came the business trips. Sarah worked in high-end real estate, so travel wasn't unusual. But suddenly, they became more frequent. A big client in Dallas, she'd say, kissing me goodbye. A conference in Houston. I'd pack her a small bag of her favorite snacks for the road, never once questioning it. Why would I? This was Sarah. My Sarah. But her behavior started to shift. She'd come home and seem hollow. The light in her eyes, the one that used to shine just for me, was dimmed. She became obsessed with her phone, guarding it like it held state secrets. When I tried to hug her, she'd flinch, just for a second before forcing a smile. I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the Austin weather. One evening, I made her favorite dinner, shrimp scampi, and she barely touched it, just stared at her phone. When I asked if everything was okay, she snapped, "Can't I just have a moment to myself? You're so suffocating sometimes." The word suffocating echoed in the dining room. I felt like I'd been slapped. Real discovery happened during a mundane chore. I was cleaning out her travel tote bag, the one she'd just used for a supposed trip to Dallas. Tucked into a side pocket, I found a crumpled receipt. It wasn't from a hotel in Dallas. It was from the Ritz-Carlton in New Orleans. My heart started hammering against my ribs. New Orleans? She'd never mentioned New Orleans. My hands shook as I dug deeper. Another receipt. The Four Seasons in Miami, and another, the St. Regis in Aspen. A sick, cold dread washed over me. These weren't business trips, which was a secret life. The next few days were a blur of cold, calculated investigation. I was a man possessed. While she slept, I used her thumb to unlock her phone. It felt like a violation, but I had to know. The texts were all there, under a contact named Mark Work. Mark was her partner at the real estate firm. The messages were graphic, explicit. They talked about their weekends in Miami, skiing in Aspen, the jazz clubs in New Orleans. They mocked me. Mark called me the loyal golden retriever. Sarah replied with a laughing emoji, adding, "He has no idea. He's too trusting." They felt invincible, untouchable, laughing at my expense from 5-star hotel rooms I was unknowingly paying for. That night something inside me broke. I went into the garage, sat on the cold concrete floor, and I didn't just cry. I sobbed. A raw, guttural sound of a man whose entire world had just been obliterated. The love, the trust, the future we'd planned, it was all a lie. 10 years of my life, a decade of devotion, felt like a cruel joke. In that dark, dusty garage, the heartbroken man died, and someone else was born. Someone strategic. Someone cold. Someone who understood that the only way to fight fire was with fire. My grief turned to ice. My mission was clear. This wouldn't be a messy, screaming fight. This would be a quiet, systematic demolition. I became a ghost in my own home. I was pleasant, agreeable, even loving. I played the part of the devoted husband perfectly, all while secretly gathering an arsenal of evidence. I hired a private investigator who gave me everything. Photos of them kissing on a balcony in Miami, holding hands in Aspen, entering that hotel in New Orleans. I downloaded every text, every email. I accessed our joint financial records and highlighted every charge from these business trips, flights, hotels, expensive dinners for two. All paid for with our money. My money. The final piece of my plan involved their biggest deal yet, the sale of a massive commercial property in downtown Austin. It was a career-defining project for both of them, worth millions in commission. Sarah was more arrogant than ever, high on her success and her secret. Mark was smug, shaking my hand at a company party, while Sarah stood beside him, her hand innocently on my arm. The irony was nauseating. I set the stage. Sarah's 35th birthday was approaching. I told her I was throwing her a huge surprise party at a lavish event space downtown. I invited everyone, her colleagues, our friends, her family who flew in from California. I even made sure Mark's wife, a sweet woman I had met a few times, was on the guest list. Sarah was thrilled, preening about how thoughtful I was. "You're the best husband," she whispered, kissing me the night before the party. The kiss felt like poison. The night of the party was cinematic. The room was beautiful, filled with flowers and smiling faces. Sarah was glowing in a new dress, the center of attention. I got up to make a toast. The room fell silent, glasses raised. I started by talking about our 10 years together, the love I thought we shared. Sarah beamed, squeezing my hand. Then my tone shifted. "But we all have secrets, don't we, Sarah?" Her smile flickered. The big screen behind me, the one meant for a photo montage, lit up. It wasn't photos of us. It was a photo of her and Mark, kissing on that Miami balcony. The room gasped. I continued speaking, my voice calm and steady, as the screen cycled through the evidence. Photos of them in Aspen, hotel receipts from New Orleans, and then the text messages. "He's too trusting." Mark's wife let out a horrified sob. Sarah's face went from shock to panic to pure, unadulterated horror. Her parents stared, mouths agape. Her boss, the head of the firm, looked on with fury. The entire room saw her for what she was, but I wasn't done. The next morning, a comprehensive file containing all the evidence, including financial statements showing her use of marital funds for the affairs, was delivered to her boss and the state real estate licensing board. A separate, detailed file went to my divorce attorney and another to Mark's wife's attorney. By noon, Sarah and Mark were both fired for ethics violations and misappropriation of company resources. Her reputation was annihilated. Our friends, who had just witnessed her betrayal, wanted nothing to do with her. Her family was disgusted. She was left with nothing but the designer clothes on her back. I filed for divorce, and thanks to the mountain of evidence, the settlement was swift and brutal. The infidelity clause in our prenup was triggered. She got nothing. The house, the savings, her dignity all gone. The last time I saw her, she was a shell of the woman I once knew, her arrogance replaced by a hollow emptiness. The house is quiet now, the magnolia tree still blooming outside my window. The end.